HD for letting me know. That was a really good intro too. So let's try it again. But Wednesday night, boys, it's a night before we get into some Thursday night football. So I thought, you know what? It's a really good night to do the NeonSportz League Showcase, and I'm super excited about the guys I've got here tonight. But before we get to them, let me tell you about power rankings and more stats. That's right, 0.14.0 is the next update. Our boy Drac has been in the lab mixing it up, putting a whole bunch of new stuff into neonsportz.com for you guys. You can do power rankings right from the site. You can all these stats, basically any kind of stat. If you're a stat monster, you can pull stats any different way you want. And one really, really cool thing, if you want to get involved with neonsportz.com, check us out. There'll be socials at the end where we'll tell you, but you can join the Discord. You can join the donor list by throwing a few ducats towards Drac's way. And then he basically listens to the league owners and does exactly what we love. And so he's building this thing from scratch. NeonSportz.com, level up your league. So let's get now straight over to the interview with my guys from the X's and O's Madden League, Mike and Craig. What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
How's it going, Hack?
Going on.
Man, it's so good to have you dudes. I appreciate you. The Raptor Claw, and I always screw up the name IBX and Rated. That is a tough name to say, so is it okay if I just call you Craig?
That'll work.
Well, first of all, guys, I got to get right to the X's and O's Madden League. Tell me, Mike, I'll start with you. Where'd that name come from? Why are you guys called the X's and O's Madden League?
Just so we like to, we're a sim league, and we have a pretty big skill difference in there, but we like to, it's a lot of going over plays and, trying to help people understand maybe concepts or, route combinations, or I've done a few little videos where it's just understanding what's going to get open in certain formations, and Madden goes through some of that, but we all know how Madden is, so they don't necessarily explain it the best. So,
right.
Basically just, for me, it's the fundamentals of football and just trying to help people that are playing the game just understand that a little bit better in a sim league.
Craig, you said something earlier that really kind of, we were talking about this idea with the X's and O's League, that you're trying to create kind of a community where guys that are there to kind of help each other out. They're not there to kind of beat each other up. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we definitely have different skill levels in our league, and the one good thing about it is like I was saying, we try to build a community to where you don't necessarily have to be good to have fun. Like, we all keep each other entertained and stuff like that. I lost my train of thought.
That's all good. No, so I think the thing is that, when we talk about building community and having guys, X's and O's, it seems like it's more about, when I was studying up on you guys, it's more about the strategy side. Like, you're trying to figure out, like, hey, if I do this, my opponent does that. It seems like your gameplay is focused way more on, like, calling the right plays versus making the right moves on the sticks. Is that right, Mike?
I would say we would like it to be still user. There should be some user input, but you and I have talked about sliders and trying to get the game to be more realistic and understanding, when that happens, it does take away from the sort of competitive head-to-head play style and lends itself more to, like I was saying, just understanding fundamentals and understanding how football, I don't want to say should be played because it's always evolving, but trying to make it more like what we see on Sundays and not just, solely having a fast guy run down the field. Like, that shouldn't be what it's all about when we're playing. So
that makes sense.
And just to add to that a little bit, I have we grew up together, and we have my brother and a friend of mine who's there in the league as well. My brother's son is in the league, and
Nice.
Our friend's son is also in the league, and I think they're 12 and 11 now. So it's, the one kid is really good, and he will beat a decent amount of people.
So you got a 12-year-old kid in your league beating you guys up. Is that what's going on?
Shout out to Owen.
Yeah. anyone that's watching from our league, they know Owen. He will give you. He's given me good games, and and I know at least a little bit of what I'm doing. Playing Madden. So
hey, no shame in losing to a 12-year-old. I've got a 13-year-old son, and he will completely destroy me in Apex. He calls it 1v1, Dad. He wants to 1v1, and I'm like, I don't want to 1v1. That means I'm getting an ass whipping, so I don't want any part of that. So Craig, one of the things that you guys, it sounds like a lot of you guys know each other on a personal level. Does that make for some kind of interesting Thanksgiving Day tables where there's a little bit of trash talking going on outside the game?
Yeah, so I mean, we've literally been playing Madden together since like early 2000s, since Madden's been around. I'd probably say he's gotten the best of me throughout the years, but we go back and forth. It's fun.
That's awesome. So this is really a labor of love for you guys. It's something that you like doing together. You trying to build a community. That is awesome. And I got news for you, Craig. I'm older than you, and Madden has been around since 1990s. So I've been playing the game
I was on
since
quarterback club at that time.
the old ambulance used to drive over the players to get to the field. I've been around, brother. I mean, I've been this gray beard. It ain't because I run my own league. It's because I'm old. But no, we you talk about Madden history and that, and just the evolution of the game and what it looks like now versus how it looked like then. Mike, talk about maybe some features you've seen in the most recent Maddens that you think, and there's plenty to bitch about, right? There's plenty, right? Let's focus on some good things. What are some things you've seen in the game specifically this year that maybe you're excited about for your league?
Well, we've been waiting for the release of the scouting update, and that's caused some people to maybe not want to stay around and wait for that. Everyone wants to start playing, but that's most people. If they're in one league, they're usually in one or two more. We were okay waiting to have that update to give the experience that. And this isn't necessarily to bash, but this is what we're sort of promised coming into this year is we would have that update. So, a lot of people are able to play now, but we would like to wait to see that come into play. Gameplay-wise, though, for me, I don't necessarily want the game to be slow, but I'm glad with on the next-gen systems, they made the speed more true to life. So it's not... cartoony change of directions, and you could just outrun everybody to one side or the other side. I think that, to me, that's a really good feature for the game. To make it more realistic, make it more lifelike. I'm excited to have that in the game.
Craig, when you're the commissioner of a league, one of the beautiful things, you get to pick the team you run with, right? So what team are you going to run with in Madden this year when you guys boot up, and why?
So actually, we don't do it like that. So we actually will generate a random order.
Wait. So you're gonna put yourself as a commissioner in this random order? You're not saying, "Hey, I'm the Chiefs. Screw y'all."
No.
Only a Madden commissioner would do that.
Team,
yeah.
I'm gunning for the Rams.
He will try to bribe somebody to trade up to get him if he can, or however he can make it happen.
So you would try to maneuver yourself in the Rams, but so it sounds like how you guys start though. It's a random order. So do you get a ranking? Like if you've been in the league a certain number of years, do you tell the 12-year-old that kicks your ass that he goes last? I mean, how does this work?
There's no. We had a user, shout out Madigi. He got the. He got the Ravens. He's a pretty good user, and him getting the Ravens, sort of like Sham getting the Ravens. If you have a good user that has the Ravens, you're gonna have a hard time. So
yeah,
but that's the most fair way. Without if somebody really wants a team and they're kind of close, we might say, hey, do you mind if if someone trades up or trades down to get that team, but for the most part, it's
everything's random.
Yeah, that random order.
Spices it up a little bit too. You don't know who you're going to get, and so it kind of makes it fun. So when we get into the Madden features that you guys are waiting on the scouting update to kind of officially launch, kick off. We're hoping that comes in October. Everybody's kind of hoping.
I don't want to give away too much, but we have someone that is sort of an inside source. He doesn't necessarily work on the development team, but he said October 12th. So we're really hoping that is the accurate date of it.
Okay, so he said he didn't want to give away too much, but he just gave away the date. He just gave away the fact he has inside sources.
Yeah.
Hey, we're breaking news. Somebody run to Twitter, NeonSportz.com League Showcase. We just broke the news. The game will have the scouting update October 12th. You heard it here on the Hack. I was about to call it the Hack and Whack Show. It's my show Friday. The NeonSportz.com League Showcase. You heard it right here. Raptor Claw breaking news.
Yeah. Well, everyone in the league knows who it is that mentioned it, but he's a really good guy. I won't give away his name, but anyone in the league knows who it is.
Well, so here's one thing too. I don't know. You're a bit of an IT developer yourself, right, Raptor Claw? I mean, that's kind of your. So how frustrating and how hard is it for you to sit back and watch this game, knowing that you could probably develop a better one?
At least getting into developing, I've learned that you don't want to go into the game developing because apparently it's torture. Like, they work you to death and you don't necessarily get to... I won't blame it all on the developers, but because at least from what I've understood, they don't have a ton of say in it, but it is frustrating when very simple things don't seem to work right. Like it whether it's the Q&A to like make sure like whoever's testing it
that they actually test it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it seems like if one thing that I've learned is you can't simulate what people using it are going to do. Like, that's why there's always some glitch that's found or something goofy in the game that's found, because they can't simulate that.
Right.
But it seems like at least get it open, to select users. Maybe the next thing you're going to be rolling out, because they're the ones that are going to figure out how to break it, So it seems like they should do, in my opinion, something more along the lines of that instead of whoever... whatever basic testing they're doing is.
Yeah. And so from a non-IT guy, I'm assuming, Craig, you're not also an IT developer. All right. So from your perspective, Craig, what are some things that you think would make the game a lot better?
Like he was kind of saying, so you can't really, he said that you can't really simulate what people are going to do in the game, but you can get onto YouTube, and within, 30 minutes, you can find a way to glitch out the defense or something.
Okay,
like that.
X's and O's,
So,
you're hearing this. One of your commissioners goes to YouTube and he finds cheese plays. You heard it right here. I'm just kidding, Craig.
So you can easily, like, all the things that are game breaking, you can find somewhere. So you would think, like, a big company would be able to figure that out too. I'm sure that they have the same access, and I'm sure that they know what's going on. So, and like the things are pretty much the same every year. Like last year, this year, certain ways to like break cover 3, for example. Like the technique is the same. So as a company, like you should be able to know that, see that, try that out before you put it out to the consumer. I don't think that it's that hard, and you can't simulate everything, like you said. Like, there's people try all type of different things, but there are some things that I know that have worked this year, that worked last year, that worked the year before, that are destroying what they try to fix.
There's some certain things that even they've worked for since we've been playing like forever ago. Like if you time an out route against man, and I guess this is sort of a real life thing, but if you time an out route right, you catch it. The defense can't stop it even with one step ahead. It doesn't matter how bad your route running is.
Yeah.
There's certain things, and like you said, we've played together for 20 some years. We've done sort of like labs together where we'll just play a game and we're just trying different things to see what works against different coverages. And, when you have someone like, we play together. So although we learn each other's tendencies, we also learn the game and, what works in the game.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think one of the things you guys are hitting on is this idea of, and it sounds like, this is part of the reason we're doing the league showcase and the reason that we're trying to get the word out. And obviously this is just one little show with just a few viewers, but if we as a connected franchise community, we do more of this stuff, right? We come together, we put together these shows, we talk about what we like, what we don't like. We start to get people in the franchise community that become influencers that can have a voice, and maybe that initiates change. Maybe there's things that can come out of it. And so I'm super excited that NeonSportz has given us this platform. I'm really thankful you guys are coming on. But one of the things that's happened in the past is all these franchises, we've all kind of been in silos where we do our own thing, and you don't really talk to each other to figure out, hey, what are you guys doing in your league? What do you guys? So again, I think that's what the spirit of what we're trying to do is, like, bring all this together where we're helping each other out. We're not just kind of beating our head against the wall, which Madden will make you do. Speaking of, what Madden will make you do is do some crazy things. Is one of the things that's really cool about your league and what you guys do. And before I get to that, I need to tell your chat, the chat guys, get ready, because here in a minute we're going to open up the questions for these guys. And so if you're in the league with them, there's going to be some questions. I'm already seeing something about how you guys run a lot of RPO glitches. So I don't know what that's about, but we'll get to that in a minute. But thank you for your questions. And also, I don't know if I think they announced this in their Discord, but the X's and O leagues, they're going to have a $25 gift card giveaway to the guys in the chat. So just hang out. Don't have a beverage. These guys are having a beverage. Have a beverage, and we'll get to it. So one of the things I was talking about is with the running a league is Madden, because it can get kind of stale, or it can get kind of just honestly shitty at times. We come up with ways to make it great, right? You come up with ways to try to infuse things in the game. And one of the things we say in our league is the game sucks, our league doesn't. And one of the things you guys do is you try to do some of these things. And one of the things I was looking at during the off season, you guys have activities that go on in your off season, and you have things like drug testing in the off season, and you've got like off season training. And I don't know who wants to take this question, but talk to me about this off season stuff you guys do to kind of infuse some more life into the game.
Well, he sort of came up with the off season training where we've made a list of sort of like prototypes, Hall of Fame players, or really big name stars, and you can use those packages. It might be like, let's say for a Deion Sanders package, it might be like +3 man coverage and +1 press, or it might be something where you do a speed boost, but it takes away from their, to get faster, they lose weight or they lose strength. He sort of came up with that idea, and then we added a stipulation, though, that if you use that on one of your players, they can get drug tested, and if they fail, they are suspended. And
so how do you determine who's juicing and who's not juicing? How do you come up with that?
So part of the IT background is it'll be from NeonSportz now, but I would pull the list of players from Daddy Leagues and just match up, the list of players that have used their upgrade, and just do a random number generator. And if it picks that number, they're suspended.
So your guys can actually get caught doing drugs in the off season. Interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted it to be much more real to life. So we do 1 game suspensions every 4 weeks. So week 4,
8 and 12.
4, 8, and 12. And we didn't want to suspend anyone going into the playoffs. But it's a 1 game suspension each time. I wanted to make it so that it was a 2 game suspension. If they got caught a second time, a 4 game. an 8 game, and then they're done after that. But it would be really hard to get someone.
So
that
if we were looking at real life, would Josh Gordon have a shot of being in the X's and O's league? Is Josh Gordon still getting a shot? I just want to know.
He might be done. I don't think he made it.
He'd probably be done. Okay. All right. I mean, that's a really cool feature, right? I mean, the things that people come up with, I'm just, I'm meeting a lot of these leagues, and I'm talking to guys, and I'm just always blown away about the things that guys come up with. And you mentioned, Daddy Leagues, and I know you guys are moving over to NeonSportz.com, and you guys have had a chance, full disclosure, you guys play in a league with myself, and you've had a chance to see, kind of some things that it will do. What are some things about NeonSportz that you really like that you've seen so far about, the stats and that?
So, I kind of, actually one of my other leagues that I'm in as well, they just started using it too. I just kind of like the way that it looks, everything that it presents itself with. I still have to look into a lot more of it. Like, I'm kind of like, I haven't really gotten too much into it other than just what I've seen. But I mean, just appearance-wise, everything looks cleaner. It looks more detailed.
I can definitely add to it because
the IT guy, let him talk to it. Yeah.
Just the fact that inside of Discord, this is separate from the website, and this is not to take away from NeonSportz. The website is definitely much better looking, but the integration with Discord is
that's amazing. It really
amazing. Is. Like, you can look up you can look up players by their name. You can look up, when you look that player up, it presents their contract, their attributes, their how long they're signed for. If you can bring up your trade block for your team. You can look up rushing leaders just inside of Discord. So if we're arguing, exclamation mark, why rushing? My guy's better. I told you, like, you can bring that up right in Discord. There's no, you don't need to get on I guess you are on the internet, but you don't need to get on Madden to do it, and you don't necessarily need to go to the website to do it. You can just do it right there.
Discord, yeah. No, it's really cool, and this week, here's one of the really cool things. I know, Mike, you joined the Discord, so you're in there with us, a lot. But you see Drac, who's the developer of this deal, interacting with different leagues, and he's like, "Hey, what do you guys want to see next?" I mean, it's like amazing. Like, you could call like Daddy Leagues and be on hold for 3 days before you got somebody even pick up the phone, or or God forbid change their very archaic system that they've got. So it's a ground level thing, and he's really building something special. So I'm so glad you guys are going to be using it, being a part of it, and obviously I really love the community side of it, because he's building a community within that Discord of people that are donating. And all have got to say, and like, hey, would be really cool. And then some guys are going, oh, you know what? That is a really cool idea. Like, so recently, they did trade updates and trade features. I want to cut a new video on that soon. But from there, you can actually run all of your accepted and denied trades from the website. It's just really, really kind of cool. So, all right. So here's.
If you don't mind me.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you don't mind me adding, Hack, it's sort of similar to Madden in a sense where it's. And I don't mean this as an attack on Daddy Leagues, but it's stale. Like, there's nothing new or added that's refreshed to that. It's just the same thing we've had for multiple years. And like you said, you can go to NeonSportz Discord and say, hey, what about, I brought up team leaders. And he said, okay, I'm adding that to the list of features because that's a good idea, to see, these 5 teams are the top defensive teams. These 5 teams are the top offensive teams. So they take that into consideration, and they will put it on their list and say, hey, this is, maybe it's the 6th or 7th or, 20th thing, but it's on their list to get out, and they've been knocking things out quickly.
It's tremendous, and I know Drac is in here. Props to you, brother, and all. He's hardly getting any sleep, he's telling me, but he's grinding on it, and I see guys like that put in work, and I will get behind him, and that's why I do it. He's not paying me a dime to do this or anything. I'm doing it out of love for what he's putting in. And so, speaking about putting love into things, your league getting ready to roll October 12th. You heard it here first is when the scouting update's coming out. So they're going to start their league then. I just threw in the chat a Discord how you can find the X's and O's league. So if you're looking to join a league and you're watching this back or you're live, go get with these guys because they've got a couple open teams, right? You're doing some recruiting right now. Is that right, Craig?
Yeah, we got a couple of teams. We making the switch from PS4 to PS5. Not everybody has had an opportunity to grab a PS5 just yet, so
right.
That leaves us with a couple spots right now. So if you're looking for a league,
well, what kind of player, Craig? You know, because obviously there's a bunch of players out there and one of the history things with why I started the loyalty league is because there was a lot of toxic play on head to head. So what kind of player are you looking for? You know, like what would be the guy that would join X's and O's leagues?
So we are a sim league, so we would be expecting somebody to play a sim style. What is that? Yeah, we would want somebody that plays a sim style, but you know, good, bad player. I mean, we love playing tough competition.
And they just can't get mad if they get beat by a 12-year-old.
I don't think that we ever steer away from.
They just can't get mad if they get beat by a 12-year-old, right? No, you can't rage quit after that, right?
Yeah, we don't want none of that.
If Wiz is watching right now, he was the joke of because he had a lead and he was actually playing the kid's dad and he had to go. Something came up and Owen took over for him. Losing and came back and won, and he got it. He got flamed in chat.
All right, so here's the thing. I think it's time now, guys. Before we jump into league questions, because I'm about to go that way, let your league ask you guys some questions, or maybe, hey, if you're not in the X's and O league, still you can ask these guys questions. But is there anything that you really want guys to know that are watching this about the X's and O league? Anything I missed?
No. I think you hit most of it, like he said, like Craig was saying, just good, bad. We try to, we'll try to match up the division so it's not like you're getting tortured the whole time. So, we usually play in the same division because we've played together forever, so we like to play each other. But that division usually has two other good users. But the one division, like I said, it's my brother, his son, and my friend and his son. So they all know each other. They get to play together. Shout out to the Canadian crowd that's in there with us. They like to play each other. So we'll try to get people that are sort of the same level together.
You guys have some Canadians, in your league. I've got a couple too, and they just happen to be some of the best players. Here's my theory on Canadians and Madden. They don't have a lot to do. They don't get to go outside very often. They live indoors. A lot. Canada is a boring place, and so they stay inside and they play a lot of Madden. Therefore, typically, what you're going to get in most leagues is the Canadian guys are really good.
We definitely have some tough competition from a few of the Canadians, and they definitely like to play. I like the way they play because they generally play pretty. I'll say at least in our league, they all play very sim. They don't sort of. There's one that skirts the rules. He knows who he is. His is more trying to
call him out.
What's that?
Just call him out. Just say who it is.
Pablo, we know you. We know you're. And it's not that he's trying to skirt the rules. He's trying to say well, if you can move running back to fullback and then a fullback to tight end, why can't I just move a running back to tight end? It doesn't work that way.
He's trying to dance around the rules, right? Yeah. Well, so the first question, the first question is, how long has your league existed?
So we actually have, maybe you want to, I'll share the story. We've been around with the group of guys for 3 years now.
Yeah.
But the commissioner that had the league before us with this group of guys, while he ran the league on point. He did some shady things in most of our opinions, where he didn't want empty teams to be there, so he would control multiple teams. So yeah. But he didn't. It's one thing if you say I don't want. It's one thing. It's one thing if you say I don't want the computer doing anything. Because the computer does dumb things.
Right.
But at least make it known you're occupying that team with a dummy account.
Right.
Until someone joins, and not
put
just
it out in the open.
Controlling teams.
Yeah.
So
and like denying it, or nobody knew that was going on. I mean, we figured it out, but I mean.
So you guys, I don't know if you played Madden over on the Group Me stage when everybody had leagues on Group Me, and there was a guy that ran a league that I was a part of that did custom draft classes, and he said he had his cousin do the custom draft classes, so he didn't know who was in it. But I did a quick review over the 3 years of drafting, and I'll be damned if he didn't have more superstars drafted than anybody in the league. I mean, it was pretty amazing ability to draft by not knowing. But the cousin doing the thing about you guys that I know this is that you run a straight up league, and it's hard to find. So good on you guys for doing that. The question from the chat is do you guys keep the chat PG because you got some kids in there, or how do you kind of manage that?
So we actually, we have restrictions throughout our Discord. So there is a specific channel to where we can all talk, including the young,
that was the
children.
I think I saw the channel, the Youngins chat.
Yeah, the Youngins League. Right. So everybody knows, everybody's been told, there's young people in here, watch what you say. But that way we can all communicate.
Yeah.
And then the rest of our channels that we have are just kind of like for everybody else. Yeah. So the kids only have access to certain channels to where we don't have to watch what we're saying.
Gotcha. Mike, the question from the chat is, you play in our league in Loyalty too, and I know Craig just joined over to K9, which we use the same rules. Do you guys think, are the rules kind of the same between the two leagues, or are there some differences?
Maybe some minor ones. Again, previously in the league, like this may have been 2 years ago. There was like it sucks that you have to put this in there, but again, this is someone tried to punt on third down because some certain kind of like punt run worked better. That's obviously not sim, but it's not in the rules. So right. I'm in agreement with you where the less rules, the better. But some people, we try to keep those people out, but every once in a while you'll get someone that's like, well, technically it's not in the rules, but again, if you see it on Sunday, it should be as close to that as possible.
Yeah, and I think rules, you can have too many, and you can have just the problem is that if you focus on, I think you guys are big on this too. If you focus on culture over rules, culture fixes rules all day. That's like my rule number 3, which is don't be a dick, right? That covers a lot of things. And if I have to explain that to you, you might not be in the right place, because we're all trying to play this game, where we treat each other with respect, and things get heated, that kind of thing. But so well, first, other question. This has been on my mind the whole interview, and I'm just going to ask it. Who's the number 21 on the wall back there?
Sean Taylor. So we're in my basement actually. This is the new setup for gaming down here, but one of my favorite players. I'm a big fan of just safeties in general. Always user safeties like since forever. So just in football in general, and he's the U guy from the University of Miami. So
nice.
Had the jersey since probably 2004 and hung it up. So
nice. Okay, Craig, who wins? A best out of 3 between you two guys. Even teams.
I'm gonna have to go with me, of course.
So
you know what?
Yeah.
It really depends because like we play together. We know it's crazy because if we don't play together for a little while, there might be a decent amount of scoring. But the guys in our league know we've played games and it's been like 7-6 because we know everything the other guy's trying to do.
Yeah,
so
right.
It really depends on like who came up with something while we weren't playing together, and that's who usually wins.
Right.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't think I've ever played anybody to the point where I actually have a headache after finishing my game than with this dude right here.
Yeah, he's what we call a sweat. He's what we call a sweat. He's gonna make. He has figured out how to do more curls and sit down routes this year than any man known in Madden, and he's figured out how to place them exactly where I'm not at. So I know that. I know that for a fact. I played him a few times. Hey, so I guess one of the things we need to do is if you're in the X's and O's league, you need to at least post something up in the chat, and we'll go back through because this will save on my stream, Mike and Craig, and you guys can figure out who was here and how you guys, you want to do the $25 gift card. So if you're in the X's and O's league, make sure you post up in the chat before we finish these last few questions. One of the questions from the chat comes from Wacky, and he wants to know, do you think it's odd to call a grown man Big Kev, or do you think you should just call him Kev?
If that's his moniker, that's what he is.
Yeah,
Big Kev.
He's Big Kev, right? If he's
Big Kev.
But is it weirder to call somebody Big Chungus?
Maybe
a little weirder. What nicknames, Craig, does Mike have besides Raptor Claw?
Big Stokes.
Big Stokes?
There you go.
Okay, Big Stokes. I see you. Well, I want to thank all you guys for being here. If you got any last questions there. Oh, here's a question. I've been a commissioner for 2 years. I run a sim league. And you guys have any tips on recruiting people? Because he keeps on recruiting people and they're super inactive. I'll let you guys answer first, and then I've got a couple ideas for him too.
So this is actually like our first time really having to do like big recruiting. The league that we came from was already kind of put together. I mean, we've had a couple people come and go, but I think the culture around our community has just been so good, and like everybody has just kind of stuck together. Now I have been a part of other leagues, and I know people go to. So I think Reddit is a good place to like maybe try to kind of find people. From what I've seen, like the Facebook community, that's kind of been hit or miss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I think one of the things is you've got to know, it's like turnover. If you've ever managed people, you're going to have a high amount of turnover, especially in a league that they have to follow rules, and you can't act like a jerk. Like if you're going to run a league like that, it's better to get rid of people and have a few open teams than it is to keep toxic people around that run the good ones off. So that's my first thing. And the second thing I would say to Bucks Life is that the best recruiters to your league are the players in your league. So like Mike said earlier, very few guys play in one league. Very few guys. Most guys are in at least 3 probably is a fair, because especially in 48-hour leagues, because you're playing once every 2 days, you can easily play 3 games in a couple of days. I mean, it's not that much of a commitment. So I would just say too, you want to make sure, Bucks Life, that you talk to your league members and other leagues they're in, and the guys that they get to know. That's the best recruiting, because I think that's really how we've built loyalty. And it's like our leagues are so connected now. I actually think I have 12 or 14 guys that are commissioners in their own leagues. And it's funny how they kind of all find each other, because you find a good league and you find a good group of guys and you kind of go, I want to play with those guys. Mike, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, sort of to build off what you said there, like, once you get in these couple leagues, you'll hear other names of players. You're like, oh, I've played with that guy, or that guy's, he's a real stand-up guy playing, or that guy's a clown playing, and you sort of get an idea of who you would want in your league and who you don't when you see people join.
Yeah.
Also, just in your advertising, if it's more than just one sentence, if they're willing to read through it and say like, yeah, I'm good with those rules,
Right.
they're at least going to play. You know what I mean? They're willing to put in that effort to read and say, click the thumbs up to get access to the rest of the chat. Like any little things like that, and just when they come in, if they talk, just say, hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the league. Can you check out the rules? Do you have any questions? If they're silent, then usually they're not going to stick around anyway. So
it's 100% true. It's 100% true. And I can tell you, we started that second league this year, K9, and we had that league together last year for a couple of seasons, and we still almost had to start from scratch on that thing, And the problem is that it takes a few years, I think, to build a solid community. And you guys have been doing it a long time. We've been doing it a long time. I think you just got to keep at it, Bucks Life. But that's a really great question. The next question comes from Birthright. He says, "What's your guys' opinions on All Pro?" I think the question is what's your impression? And I'll start with you, Craig, of All Pro versus All Madden, how the game plays.
I mean, at this point, I don't really have too much experience with All Pro. I don't really play too much like head-to-head games because I'm pretty sure that's All Pro. Pretty much every single league that I'm in is All Madden. So
yeah,
no,
it's a good point. I mean, not a lot of people are using All Pro, so it's tough to compare. Mike, you got anything to throw in on
that? I know at least from I think Loyalty was All Pro last year, correct? Maybe.
Yeah, we were All Pro last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's definitely some differences in. I'm not 100% sure on this year because Loyalty switched to All Madden, but right. Animations and sort of like players' motions and reacting, like everything's as you expect on a harder difficulty. Everything's a little bit one step faster. It almost seems like
the kick meter.
Yeah, the kick meter is definitely a lot faster. I saw a whole bunch of missed kicks in that 14 mile per hour win today in our game of the week. Yeah, the kick meter is boosted. I'll tell you this. I watched some streamers play, and without a doubt, all the streamers they are begging for them to change the competitive mode of Madden over to All Madden because the game plays smoother. One thing that happens is the AI reacts more like real football players in All Madden. Because if you remember, it's like playing foosball where you're just using, one handle, right? If you're playing foosball against somebody and you're just controlling this one guy and you're not controlling all these other guys, they've got to be smart enough to know when to kick and all that. That's how Madden plays. You're controlling one guy. You're not controlling the whole field. Now you're making adjustments and that kind of thing. So you want your AI at a high level because it does make the game look less stupid, quite honestly. And so another question from the chat is, does a lack of hair make you good at Madden? And I don't know if that's for me or for you guys. I am without a doubt.
It's looking rough.
I am without a doubt the best 48-year-old in my league. I mean, I will tell you that right now. Put me against any other 48-year-old and I'm going to dust them. But does lack of hair, does it make you good at Madden, guys? And I don't want to look at you, Craig, but
both of us have been criticized as we've been called dusty thumbs because most of the guys are like mid-20s and younger, so our thumbs are decrepit and But we
check the Super Bowl right now.
Check the Super, as you check the ring, right? Hey, last question is well, not last, but one of the questions is. One of the guys that's in our league, and this is what's really kind of cool about these leagues, right? And you guys know each other in real life. Obviously, you're there together. Is what's Progs like in real life?
He's a cool guy. He came and he tried. Oh, I will say he didn't try out Permanis, which is I was explaining to him in Pittsburgh. Everything has fries on it, and a Permanis it's a sandwich with coleslaw and fries. And he just totally shot it down. Other than that, though,
Progs is from Oklahoma. You gotta understand they don't have things like that in Oklahoma. If it doesn't have barbecue sauce or ranch, he doesn't want anything to do with it. Barbecue sauce or ranch, he's out. He's out. Now that was really cool. Those guys got together and they shot us a picture of them having a couple beers. Which, man, that is what it's all about. Is doing things like that together. And man, that is so awesome. Last question from Bradster is, and then we'll wrap it up after this. How do you handle suspensions or punishments for breaking the rules? Is it an instant ban or a warning? How do you guys do that?
So, it kind of just depends what it is. Quitting in our league, you're pretty much gone.
Yeah. Rage quit.
You know, there's no, we don't want you around.
Right.
And then as far as like another rule that gets broken, we'll kind of do a warning to start things off. And then if that same player breaks another rule, repeat offender, we usually take one of their higher overall players and suspend them for 2 games.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if they break a rule a third time, eventually it'll get to a point where we would just kick them out. But if it's just like something they slip up, you know, it's a 2-game suspension for one of their players too.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a slap on the hand until, you know, but there are certain kind of things that, you know, immediately, like somebody just rage quits in the middle of a game, or, you know, I could see that. I could definitely see that. So, guys, I just want to thank you again for the time. I mean, we're almost an hour in here, and it just went by. So thankful for you guys doing this show. Again, I'm going to put it up in the chat one more time. This is how you can join the X's and O's League. They've had a hard time getting a couple of guys over from PS5. If you like what you heard tonight and you want to go play in the X's and O's League, join that Discord. You can also hit me up. I can get you to these guys, no problem. We're one big family, one big love, one big community. So much love to you, Craig, and to you, Mike. Have a good Madden cycle, and maybe we'll see you guys down the road again.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Hack, having us on, and NeonSportz for the showcase and for the awesome site. And like you said, hope everyone, if anyone wants to join, they're welcome to, and we appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. And if you want to get in touch with NeonSportz, this is how you do it. They've got their socials there listed. That's where you can find those guys. If you liked what you saw, and thank you for the follows, guys. A lot of follows tonight. We'll be doing more of these. We also do a show on Friday nights called the Hack and Whack Show, which is mostly comedy mixed in with a little bit of Madden talk with my best friend Whack. But go to neonsportz.com and level up your league today and tune in for our next league showcase. Thanks, guys.